Moving abroad does not have to be difficult. You just need the right checklist. And that's what we're talking about today. Welcome, I'm Emro, and thank you for coming back to my channel. We're going to go over my list of what I used when I decided to move from Canada to Kenya. So let's get started. You might also want to grab a pen and paper, but we're going to get right into it. So just pause the video right here, grab your pen and paper, come back. Number one on the list, clarify your why and vision. Before you do anything else, figure out why you want to move abroad. Are you moving, or are you running from something, or are you running to something? Write down these reasons. Is it because of more cost-effective living, better weather, adventure, better food, yes. Or is it just to escape for another 3.5 years? Whatever that is, you know what I mean. Write it down. Because you'll go back to it. You'll actually have these points in mind when sometimes you're second guessing yourself. But more importantly, for number two, which is research your destination country. Research your destination country. And I say you're going to go back to the list because you're going to have a look at a country that is ideally suited for what is on the list. Now, there are going to be countries that will come up that you might not even have thought of, but they might check all of the boxes or majority of the boxes. And that's something that you should, open your mind to. So start doing your research, start looking at countries, but first, again, list, research. Okay. And one thing I will say about doing your research, again, you might not be able to check all of the boxes, but be open-minded and look at what the country has to offer as far as how you will fit in to the lifestyle of that country. Okay. Let's move on. Number three on the list is financial readiness. Now, this one is a huge one. So let's take a minute. Let me get you my good side. So we're talking about financial readiness. Financial readiness. Money, money, money. This is where dreams die if you're not prepared. Calculate all of your moving costs, flights, visas, deposit, a few months of living expenses, as well as 3 to 6 months of emergency money. Open a Wise account or a Charles Schwab international banking account. So I've done mine differently because my country of choice is Kenya. And I knew going into Kenya because I did an exploratory trip, which is something else we're going to talk about later. But I know in Kenya that there is M-Pesa, which is basically the movement of money through your cell phone. And that gives you the ability to transfer money digitally from my account here through SendWave, Lemfi. There are a number of different money transfer companies that transfer through from your bank account onto their platform and then into my M-Pesa account in Kenya. So that's what I've done. Now, if you don't have that ability, depending on where you choose to go, obviously, then I would say that yes, you do need to open a physical account in the country that you're traveling to, as well as have an account in your home country in which to do international banking transfer. One last thing I want to mention in regards to finances. You are still responsible for taxes in that home country until you decide otherwise. So you still have to file your income tax from the country of origin until you decide otherwise. Do keep in mind that, of course, some people might have it like that where they can just live off of their, let's say, dividends or their stocks or their whatever investment they've done. However, for the majority of us that are not in that position, we still have to have income coming in. So whether it be through a remote job or whether it be through your independent online business or being a content creator, regardless of what it is, you still are going to get paid. So you still need to pay the piper. Okay. So do be mindful of that. So let's move on to your exit strategy. I don't care which country you're moving from. There are a lot of countries that people are moving and trying to run and escape from, but it's time to do away with a few things. Time to sell your place or rent it, cancel subscription, redirect mail, digitize a lot of important documents, all important documents. Get medical checkups unless you're going to some of these countries that have great medical services. But do keep in mind that you'll be away at least for a while. So if you need prescription, otherwise, by all means, you need to actually plan for that. Okay. do keep in mind as well, as far as closing out, let's call it the closing out process, that you need to be mindful of everything. So that includes what ifs. What if? So you need to have that contingency plan in place. And you know what I mean by what if. What if something happens that your family or friends cannot get to you? What if you're incapacitated? What if you do not, something happens along the way? We have to call it for what it is. It's life. So you have to put those plans in place. Okay. Definitely, we're not just talking about travel insurance. We're talking about the what ifs. Let's not be ignorant of that. Go on to number 5. Communication and tech setup. So you need to get your tech game ready. Unlock your phone so that you can use it for international SIM cards. You also need to set up WhatsApp so that way you have the ability to communicate to individuals back at home, but also within the country that you're in, if you choose to just use your main phone as your communication. When I'm in Kenya, I have a Kenyan phone which I use, and it's just easier because the M-Pesa system, it's just that much easier. So I've got my Kenyan phone. I still have my my Canadian phone number intact, because I do need to have communication. Say, for example, I'm doing banking and I need to get a authentication code or something like that. You don't want to just, cancel your phone line and then realize that, oh my God, what did I do? So keep everything intact for the first year, because you don't know what you don't know until you get to that point. All right. So do budget for that as well. If you do decide to use your main phone as your international phone, no problem. You might want to consider backing everything up on the cloud without question, and get a VPN so that you can access your American accounts, your Canadian accounts, your UK account. Just get a VPN. Trust me, you won't want to be locked out of any of your accounts on the road. Number 6, documentation, all the legal stuff. You have to have a checklist for your legal stuff. Paperwork is boring, but it's crucial. Make sure that your passport has at least 6 months left on it. Get your visa sorted early so that you're not waiting at the last minute and having any issues. Get your international health insurance, because as a Canadian, we have health insurance in Ontario or in the different provinces, but step out of there, you're on your own. So you do need to buy insurance. This is where I'm going to have a segment talking about international insurance, because it's so crucial. When I do travel, if I'm going away in the past, when I would travel, say, to the islands or a 2-week holiday, the bank insurance is perfect, or Mutual Life or some of the other insurance. They have those, travel insurance. Those are great, but this is not what we're talking about. We're looking for travel insurance that is an extended coverage. And that's what we're talking about, because most of the time the bank insurance or the Mutual Life insurance, these companies, they tend to have just a 2-week window, 15 days. Like, that's all you get, because that's all we can get sometimes for vacation time. Yes, that's part of the reason why I said, no more, exit stage. Right? Right. Number 7, let's keep it going. Number 7 is build your support network. Don't try and do this alone. Join Facebook groups for expats in your target country that you're going to. Follow YouTubers who've actually moved there, and find people planning similar moves and support each other. Having a community makes the difference between success and giving up when things get hard. Okay, so definitely don't go it alone. Number 8, plan for your arrival. Book temporary housing for your first 4 weeks, if not 6 weeks. And the reason why I found myself in a position where I did book 4 weeks thinking, okay, that's enough. But, depending on where you're going, things can move a lot slower. You order furniture, it takes a great deal of time. When I moved into my first apartment in Nairobi, I actually did not get my bed when they said that it was going to be ready. And hence I had my mattress on the floor for a couple weeks longer than I had even thought to have had it on the floor. So you want to give yourself enough time. So I say 4 to 6 weeks. Last but not least, about number 8, we want to make sure that you are understanding your move into their country. So do keep in mind that you should learn at least the common phrases, thank you, welcome, just the basic communication skills within that country and to be able to articulate yourself well enough. Do not go into a country thinking that, oh, well, English is the business language of the world. I mean, how utterly rude is that? And I'm sure that if you're watching this video and you've gotten to this point, you're not that person. So thank you so much for understanding. I'm not trying to be rude. I might come across as being a bit abrasive sometimes, but it's just because I'm Jamaican. I don't mince my words. I just tell it as it is. Okay. So thank you for understanding. Go into people's country and what they say, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Yeah, that is a real thing. So do keep that in mind. Along the same line, I would not commit to long-term housing before you arrive because it's so deceiving sometimes when you see things online to think, okay, it's a great neighborhood, but you don't know what's behind the building. You don't know what's beside the building. So you don't know what the noise factor is. Those are things that you won't understand and get until you arrive there. So keep that in mind. Don't commit to long-term. For the love of God, do not buy anything off the bat. Do not invest unless it's some amazing steal, but then again, you don't know what a steal is in the country that you're going to. You need time in the country to understand the nuances. You need time in the country to understand, how does this flow? How does it, and also to get to know people that will put you in the right position of acquisition. Okay? Just my 2 cents on that. So between 3 and 6 months, or I should say 6 months out, up to 3 months, you need to research and all of the visa applications, know what you're doing, save money, sell items, find out what you're doing as far as if you're going to be working online remotely. What's the income situation? So this is a period where you're going to have so many things going on. You're going to think, oh my God, it's too overwhelming. Should I even bother with this? You're going to get discouraged. And worse off, if you don't have, as I said, a community in place in which to encourage you, you might actually give up. So do keep that in mind. It is daunting 6 months out without question, but it's also an amazing, exciting period because you're actually putting into place the steps that's needed to get you to where you want to get to. Okay. So do not give up. This is a little mini bonus. We're going to do a timeline check. And this timeline check is important because you want to keep in mind where you are in the process. And we're doing basically a 6-month timeline. So say, for example, you decide by January 1st, thereabout of 2026, you want to actually be out of the country that you're in. You spend Christmas with your family and you're gonzo. This is what you need to do. You need to reverse engineer. You need to work backwards. By month 3, you're definitely going to want to have all of your visas in place, your ticket, your flights booked, because you're going to get your best flight prices usually around that 3-month window. You're going to notify your landlord. You're going to notify if you're having your place subletted or rented. You're going to need to have that done by month 3 up. For month 2, you're going to make sure all of your important documentations are scanned, downloaded. Your will is done. Your just in case contingency plan is in place. You're also going to start packing. You're going to start saying, your goodbyes to friends, families. You're going to put certain things, everything into place actually that you need to do so that by month 1, it's like you're just ready to pick up your case and go. Because during that last month, you're going to start to have and anxiety, maybe some nervousness, and you need to be able to calm. So that's month 1. You're dealing with your wellness. You're dealing with your calmness. You're dealing with, okay, we're ready. We're ready for this to build up excitement for the next phase. One last thing I want to say about this part is that you do not want to rush the process. If you need more time, if you need 8 months, if you need 12 months, take the time. This is not something that you want to rush through because it is a process that it's already the change, the anxiety, the thought. Now, don't mind you, if you are more than ready, go. You understand what I'm saying? Kick butt and get things done. Now, let's talk about some beliefs that hold people back and why you need to address this. And again, going back to the list of why it's important, because we don't want to wear ourselves out and out of the process by these myths. Myth number one, you do not need to be rich to move abroad. Some places are cheaper and more cost effective to live than in America, Canada, the UK, Germany. I can go on, the list can go on. So you do not have to be rich to move abroad. Number two, you don't need a remote job first. You can figure this out. And I prefer to have a remote job or even a online income business in place prior to leaving. But if you have to go, you got to go. Myth number three, healthcare abroad is not as scary as some people make it out to be. In fact, healthcare abroad is better than the system, definitely in the US, can be better than the system. The free healthcare in Canada and the UK. And that's because the service that you receive is immediate. You get taken care of immediately versus having to wait and wait and wait. And last but not least, myth number 4 and 5, you don't have to sell everything. You don't have to speak the perfect language. You just need to stop making excuses and start making plans. All right, common fears and objections. Everyone has the same fears. What if I run out of money? What if my family thinks I'm crazy? I went through that, by the way, and there's a video, I'll link it up here. What if I can't handle the taxes, the visas? Here's the truth about all of these solvable problems. Start with a 90-day trial run. You're basically going to decide, okay, let me try this country for 90 days. I'll do it as a house sit-in. Where you stay at someone's house. More than likely, you'll probably have to take care of their pet because 90% of the time, that's usually what is attached to that scenario. But it gives you an opportunity to try out the country. So try it for the first 90 days. Use house sitting, use co-living to cut the cost. You can also work remotely part-time to fund your adventure. Think about it as a homeschooling project to travel with kids so that there is less objections. This is part of their curriculum. Try that. Okay, so now we're talking about breakthrough ideas and common strategies. I call it BICS. Here are some BICS that you can use. Again, we talked about the 90-day test run, okay? We also talked about the remote work, so you can work remotely for that period to give it a test run. We talked about the homeschooling. Turn your skills into an online business. I'm going to have a video dedicated just specifically for that. That's upcoming. One of my favorite things is you need to stop thinking about this move as just a change in location. It's about changing your entire life trajectory. You can live anywhere in this world. What you need more than anything is peace. Peace over your life. Peace over all of the stuff that's coming at you each and every day. And you just need to start. You need to start and treat it like it's a business plan, not a vacation. Okay, so you've got the complete playbook. It saved me a lot of headache, and I know it will save you a lot of headache. Okay, don't just watch this and do nothing. You need to pick one thing from this video and do it today. Join a Facebook group, write it down, write down your why, open an international bank account, do one thing today. I made a free checklist with everything that we covered, plus bonus stuff that I didn't cover in this video. Links are in the description below. Grab it while you're motivated. Grab it now, because tomorrow you'll make excuses. If this opened your eyes to moving abroad, it is actually possible. Hit that like button and subscribe, by the way. Look, this list might feel like a lot, but thousands of people are living abroad right now. They're not special. They're not rich. They just stopped making excuses and started making moves. And you can do the same. There's no perfect time to move. Actually, there is. It's right now. But what I'm trying to say is you need to take action. You'll never have enough money or feel ready, but that's exactly why you need to go. The biggest regret isn't failing. It's never trying and then wondering, what if? To Girl M, thank you so much for stopping by. As I said, drop a like, subscribe, and comment as to where you might be thinking of relocating to. And if you have any other questions as far as what you want covered, I will be happy to discuss. And see you on the next video. Peace out.